50 ways to live your time. Number 5. Everywhere in space-time is full of archy by Kosen Handa. The readers of the advanced edition of 2013, The Day God Sees God, may observe that the geometric structure of the universe beginning in the Hartle-Hawking no-boundary hypothesis is almost identical to that of the archy described by noology. The only difference between them is their interpretation of the imaginary time universe. The no-boundary hypothesis posits a passageway connecting the four-dimensional space-time to the four-dimensional space in the microspace at the singularity. In contrast, noology regards the forward direction of a physical body, which we call the depth, as the state of light-speed microspace. To invade the imaginary time universe, one can walk to that microspace at once and invert to the other side of the light-speed barrier. Noology considers the human's being itself as the nexus or singularity between the real-time universe and imaginary time universe. Every human being is a singularity. When we consider the origin of space-time in conjunction with the nature of human existence, the gist of Hawking's proposal becomes clear. He states that if we believe that the universe is a place ordained by divine providence, we must believe that these laws in the no-boundary hypothesis hold at every point in space-time, including the beginning of the universe. The argument is not about believe it or not, but an obvious statement. It simply means that humans have the liberty to position themselves anywhere in space-time. The statement clarifies that if the awakening, that is, in noology's terms, the manifestation of the outside in human consciousness occurs, we can overcome this singularity. Our cosmos would then become boundaryless. However, if no awakening occurs, the singularity will function as a singularity, forever setting a barrier between it and the space of creation. In simpler terms, what physics calls a singularity is a boundary that limits the dimension of the inside of a human. That is, the dimension where we define space with scales, or to say, width. I often criticize the way we exist as humans are alienated from the creation. Humans do not contribute anything to the creative activity of the universe. Humans are bleeding, and so on. This is because, in noology's viewpoint, creation and generation take place in this imaginary time universe, which can be called a place of eternity. However, the existence of human beings is a testament to their essentiality to God. The 100 pages of content I have added to the advanced edition of 2013, The Day God Sees God, can be considered a sketch of the first landscape one will encounter in this imaginary time universe. As mentioned earlier, the imaginary time universe is mathematically equivalent to a four-dimensional space. In a four-dimensional space, it is possible to construct a four-dimensional sphere which has a surface called a three-dimensional sphere S3. In modern physics, this three-dimensional sphere S3 plays a vital role. For instance, electrons, protons, and neutrons have geometric structures based on this three-dimensional sphere. The shape of the space where the spins of these particles arise is represented by the group SU2, complex two-dimensional spatial unitary group. In addition, the shape of this group is considered to be the same as the three-dimensional sphere S3. In the previous video, I discussed the possibility of geometric formation in space-time. On the other hand, physics classifies elementary particles according to their electric charge and the magnitude of their spin, i.e., angular momentum. Still, this concept of spin implies that elementary particles are spinning in some way. However, the rotation of elementary particles that produces their spins is not a rotation in the same sense as the rotation of objects. It would be more accurate to say that subatomic particles have intrinsic angular momentum, which is a property that is not related to the rotation of an object in space. Modern physicists conceive the concept of spin to create an image of the behavior of elementary particles because they are attempting to depict a higher dimensional form based on the concept of space-time. In an imaginary time universe, where time does not exist in the ordinary sense, it will be more accurate to say that subatomic particles do not rotate in any way. In eternity, the motion of rotation can only be described as a static geometric structure called a circle, existing independently of time. Hawking, who resolved the problem of the moment of creation with the no-boundary hypothesis, also asked, "So long as the universe had a beginning, we could suppose it had a creator. But if the universe is really completely self-contained, having no boundary or edge, it would have neither beginning nor end. It would simply be. What place then for a creator?" Noology holds that sacred geometry, as the matrix of creation, is alive in this simply being. That geometric realm is the womb of the feminine principle into which the divine sperm infuses in spiritual conception. The philosophical tradition calls it the chora, a receptacle. Physics calls it the elementary particle, and Buddhism calls it the ring of samsara. Perhaps they all refer to the same thing. Think of what noology calls jigen kansatsushi, the dimensional paratron, or dimensional observing particle, as that matrix of creation. Now, let us again feel the breath of eternity in the forward direction of our bodies. Time does not exist here, so no matter which direction we turn our bodies and look, there is no longer any rotational movement associated with time. We then realize that, indeed, there is only one direction, forward. Hence, introducing imaginary time renders the perceptual sphere that was thought to be surround us can no longer be called a sphere, but merely a single line segment with infinitesimal length, which is the fourth dimension. In noology, this manifested four-dimensional line segment is called 水質, the vertical quality, in the sense that, according to Okotsuto's information, it is a force rising vertically from three-dimensional space. Then, what physics call the spin of up quark manifests in our consciousness as a receptacle of the self, the chora. In other words, the up quark spin signifies the very forward of us. How do matters appear to a transformer's consciousness? In Ichi no Toka, the positional equalization, it will appear to be 水質, a vertical quality, a force rising vertically.